And hello, and welcome everyone. We're back again for another installment of Retro Hero Video, the special video book club that Matt and I do. Well, I was going to say at the end of every month, but then we kind of didn't do it last month, and I thought we were supposed to do it 2 weeks ago, but we're doing it now, so when it does come out, it will be the end of the month.
Yeah, it was kind of like just writing ourselves a little bit, and just like, okay, it's now back to the end of the month. Yeah,
you know, so I'm not totally full of shit. Eventually what this show is just going to be is just going to be the whenever we need something to fill in when there's no news, I think is what this show will ultimately be. And on this week's show, everyone, we're taking a look at Fantastic Four World's Greatest Heroes, which is a show that a lot of people were super stoked to see us cover.
Yeah, it's a show I've never seen before.
Same. That's, of course, the big theme of this arc that we're going through. We did very special episodes, and now we're doing episodes of shows that we've never seen. And this was the perfect time to do a Fantastic Four show because they're coming back in vogue in a real big way right now. They're kind of blowing up.
Yes, they are, yeah.
Yeah, we got the new Ryan North book that got announced just a couple weeks ago. He's going to be taken up after Slott. He's got a lot of big ideas. We now know officially when the Fantastic Four movie is finally going to take place within the MCU phases.
Yep.
It's a little further off than we thought, but we know that it's coming, which means we're probably going to be getting director and actor news soon.
Well, we might have actually already gotten a director already attached.
Yes, that's right. Who did they get? They got someone interesting, as they usually do.
They got the WandaVision guy, Matt Shakman.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I think he can do some really fun stuff with the material, right?
Definitely.
So yeah, it's a good time to be a Fantastic Four fan. It's a good time to visit this right here. But as always, you know, we're not going to just be looking at the show itself because, you know, we here at Retro Hero Video think of ourselves as cultural anthropologists. We need to also, you know, explore what was the time period that this show came out and what was culture like. And we're heading back to the heady days, Matt, of 2006, which I want to say we've actually kind of been here before, but I promise we won't be retreading any old topics because it's September 2006 is where we're headed.
Yeah, a little later in the year.
Little later in the year. Now, as always, Matt, when we do this, I always try and start these off by saying, what do you think was #1 on the charts at this time in September 2006? What were you blasting over in Australia? And I know your music scene is completely different than ours, but you know, some big hits are inescapable.
Yeah, well, you'd say that, but like, our music is generally the same as what you guys over in Canada and the US listen to. It's basically the same.
It's true. Sometimes you get some weird stuff there, you know, like the UK charts are usually different than ours because there's some things that are like only big hits in the UK.
Yeah, very specific, maybe UK-centric stuff. Yeah.
Kind of more niche acts there. But for this year, 2006 in September, the #1 hit song. Oh, this one takes me back, Matt. It was Bringin' Sexy Back by Justin Timberlake. Oh, what a time to be alive when JT brought sexy back. And thank God he did, you know, the sexy drought that you read about in history class. You know, I don't think we could have made it another year if Justin Timberlake did not painstakingly bring sexy back.
I know, right? Yeah.
He was, of course, awarded that same year with a Nobel Peace Prize by the president for bringing sexy back. Truly a humanitarian for everything he did. I'm bringing sexy back. Seriously, what? Like, the balls that it takes to say that in a song, like, yes, me personally right now am bringing sex back. You didn't even know it was gone until I brought it back.
And it seemed to work because it's an insanely popular song, even to today.
Sure is. I would put this song right up there with, like, The Return of the Mac and The Boys Are Back in Town, where it's like, I don't even know who these people or things are, but thank you for bringing them back. But yeah, so that was the world of music. As always, from that, we take a look at the world of movies. What a weird time 2006 was in the Hollywood landscape. Iron Man is still 2 years away.
Yep.
A lot of the big franchises are either wrapping up or in a weird kind of limbo state right now. The #1 film, I'm not even going to ask you what this was, because there's no fucking way you would guess it. I couldn't guess it if you had a gun to my goddamn head. But the #1 movie in the world was The Covenant.
Yes, Rennie Harlan's crappy fucking boy band
Were they
magic?
Yeah, were they vampires or wizards? I've never seen the movie, but I've seen the trailer 100 times because it's attached to a movie I like.
Yeah, I think the idea is that they're like magicians or something.
I guess, because Covenant makes think like Witch Covenant.
Their families were part of like a magician. I don't know. I just know Sebastian Stan is in it. And I think he's a bad guy.
Oh shit! Wow. Humble beginnings, am I right?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we all got to start somewhere, but yeah, holy shit, this movie is just pretty boys but powers, and it's also kind of like The Lost Boys too, because again, I've not seen the movie, I've only seen the trailer. It's like, oh, and they get into so many shenanigans, but oh, there's an evil Covenant man after them. Can you believe something like this could be #1? Only in a pre-superhero movie world, right?
I mean, yeah, it hit all those
key demos.
All those key demos of that time.
Right. Which, actually, funny, in my research for this, because I was looking at, like, books and comics and what was being published, the first Twilight book came out this year, too.
Oh, really?
Yes.
When did the movie of that come out? When did the first movie that would have been, like, the year after or something.
Yeah, not for a while later, because the book had just come out. It wasn't, like, a smash hit yet. I think it was more of a sleeper hit, like, it got bigger later.
Okay.
Which is hard to believe to say that, it was a real sleeper hit, you see. Again, I kid. I know we're not teenage girls. We're not the demo, and it's like friggin' cliche in and of itself to shit on Twilight now all this time later.
Yeah.
We're better than that. You know, we don't always have to take the low-hanging fruit. We can reach for higher fruits to grab. Now, from there, we head into the world of television, and again, we've already done stuff from 2006 before. It's all fucking reality shows. That was anything anyone was watching in the pre-streaming world. But an interesting TV landmark that happened in September 2006 is the CW premiered and became the 6th network on American television.
Yeah, WB turned over to the CW and has been that ever since.
Yes, it sure has. In fact, maybe even until just now when it seems that, you know, new owners and financial problems, it might not actually be that by the time this video goes up.
Nope.
But yes, the CW, the channel that gave us Smallville and all the other DC extended universe shows, to think that it would end up becoming so important to people like us in the line of work that we are in.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, to think that I am wistful and nostalgic for a network where, again, I was almost certainly not the target demo when it started. C'est la vie, CW, c'est la vie. Now, in the world of video games, the #1 title this month, it was like a freaking Madden or something. It was a sports game, and I know you and I can't talk about that. But apparently the second most purchased game in the year 2006 is, very interestingly enough, Saints Row 1.
Yeah, which I think, like, the new one is, like, the most popular game at the moment.
Yeah, of course, because it's the biggest title that came out right now for all consoles. Yeah, how funny is that? You and I are both playing the new Saints Row now, and Saints Row 1 was a big hit in 2006 when we're just talking about this now.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, you and I like the new game, too. Everyone else is kind of shitting on it. It's getting, like, middling to bad reviews, but I keep saying, what did you want?
I mean, it's exactly the same as the other games. It's just, like, set in, like, modern times.
Yeah, it's just slightly different, and everything, people's like, oh, it's just a lot of shooting, there's not a lot of variety. Yeah, that was true for the first and second one, honestly. You're only remembering 3 and 4, where there was, like, an embarrassment of riches and stuff.
You know why? Because the people complaining only played 3 and 4.
That's the feeling I'm getting. A lot of people are showing their age, and they're like, oh, you know, the jokes are bad and the characters are cringy. I'm like, motherfucker, play the first one again. They could not go 3 seconds without saying the N-word. The first one is super cringe, and the only thing that saves it is they got really great character actors like Daniel Day Kim and Keith David to elevate these parts.
Yes.
That is what saved the series, and it's what they doubled down on in the sequels and everything. Ironically, too, at a time when Grand Theft Auto wasn't doing that, because Grand Theft Auto's like, oh, if we pay celebrity actors, we gotta, like, pay them money, and they want, like, residuals and shit.
Yeah.
That's why it's super surprising for, like, the last Grand Theft Auto 5, Stephen Ogg, the guy who plays Trevor, ended up becoming a pretty big character actor star anyway around the same time the game came out.
Yeah.
Which makes me think, like, oh, fuck, you're never seeing Trevor again in anything else. Though, We technically saw him in Red Dead 2 for like a second, so maybe he's cool.
Yeah.
So maybe Steve is cool. Maybe he'll break that. But yes, from there we move on to the world of comics, and again, it was 2006, so Civil War is all anyone is reading. 52 is all anyone is reading. We've talked about this, so instead, I decided to grab us an issue of Wizard magazine.
Yeah, the old Wizard magazine.
Yes, back before it was, internet forums and YouTube videos and everything else. It was Wizard. This is where you got your comic news. And boy, journalism in the comic space has not changed at all as I look at this.
Nope.
It is all so much the same. They're calling this the biggest issue ever, which, now would be the biggest scoop ever. Coming soon behind my Patreon paywall.
Yep.
What is, of course, especially interesting about this is that they're already hyping up Fantastic Four 2 Rise of the Silver Surfer, which is in many reasons why this cartoon was commissioned.
Yeah, I was going to say, this was around the time the second film was starting to sort of ramp up, yeah.
In fact, because of that movie, Fantastic Four World's Greatest Heroes actually had a bit of a fucked up release schedule. They only aired the first 8 episodes of like a 26, 27 episode show, and then they stopped until the new movie came out.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, you want to wonder what's like, oh, why didn't this show make it? Well, kind of because they got jerked around like this.
Yeah, that sucks.
It kind of does, doesn't it? But yeah, we got Jessica Alba here on the cover, and I love the little subheading there. Silver Surfer and Doom return! Exclamation mark. Can Galactus be far behind? Obviously, yes, we would get Galactus, but it would not be the way you wanted.
No, it'd be a big fart cloud in space.
Which I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, Jesus Christ, why did they spend so much time and energy on Fantastic Four 2? And I'm like, oh, because there was no cinematic universes yet. We were happy to get this. This was all there was. This was our bread and butter. We were all excited about this. Then under that, we have Alan Moore's steamy new sex comic. They're talking about Lost Girls, which I love that it's new at this time.
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson, the Snakes on a Plane interview. Yeah, remember when that was
man.
When that was
movie.
Snakes on a Plane was like a meme before memes were things, right? They literally tried to meme a hit into like existence, and it didn't work.
Yeah. It was like Morbius before it was Morbius.
It sure was. And then the final article that you can read in this great Wizard magazine from 2006, 50 greatest fights of all time, and it's Peter and the chicken from Family Guy, because that was still a topical reference in 2006.
That just like that's the thing that dates everything on this issue.
Yep, not the Fantastic Four getting like a big cover story. The Family Guy reference is what dates it 100%.
Yeah.
Was that the first or second time they got canceled? Because people forget that Family Guy got canceled a bunch before it became the big powerhouse that it is.
Yeah,
I saw that chicken picture of him fighting Peter, and I'm just like, I turned to dust. My bones turned to dust. I started walking with a cane, and I needed glasses to see. I aged 100 years. But yes, everyone, with that trip down memory lane all said and done, we can actually hop into the show proper. And yes, it is Fantastic Four. It is World's Greatest Heroes, which is an interesting title, would you not agree, Matt? They're really selling it super hard.
It is, yeah.
I mean, the Fantastic Four are definitely one of the most important groups of heroes in comics. Lord knows if they didn't exist, Stan Lee probably wouldn't have stuck to doing comic books. They're the bedrock, essentially, of the Marvel Universe as we know it. But I think you'd be hard-pressed to have people tell you, especially people our age, that they're the world's greatest heroes.
No, they're definitely not. I can see, like, why they chose that subtitle, because it sounds better than like The First Family or something like that.
Because you say First Family, we as comic fans obviously know what you're talking about, but Joe and Jane Schmo are like, fucking First Family, what does that mean? Who's First Family? Well, the First Family of Marvel. And yeah, the Fantastic Four, I guess they don't have as many great like subtitles as like Spider-Man or the X-Men do they?
No.
It's like First Family was so great they didn't need any more after that.
Yeah.
It's already perfect. So yeah, this show is often regarded by a lot of people as like the anime Fantastic Four, and I assumed where it's like, oh, so it was made by a Japanese company, right? No, actually.
Oh, okay.
No, it was made by a French company.
Okay.
It was made by a French company in conjunction with Cartoon Network Europe, so it was like a big co-producing deal.
Okay.
Now, as we will find out, this series definitely has some anime tropes and definitely some anime stylistic choices, but no, it is not actually made by Japanese people.
Okay. I didn't know that. I wonder if is this anything to do with that one Iron Man series? I don't know when that one started.
Oh, when he's a teenager?
Yeah, Armored Adventures or something.
Yes, that wasn't until the first movie. That didn't come out till
Okay, yeah. But this feels like a proto to that.
Right, which, shit, actually, add that to the list, Iron Man Armored Adventures. I forgot about that one. There's another one. We'll do a whole kids arc where, you know, like, superheroes turn into kids. We'll talk about that. We'll do that. We'll do Child's Play from Justice League. It'll be great. Now, interesting, too, is, you know, we're talking about Japanese influence. This is the only time ever where Reed Richards is actually played by a Japanese guy.
Oh, really?
Yes, Hiro Kano. His name is Hiro. I'm not going to butcher his last name, but yes, he's a Canadian-Japanese man who voices Reed. He's a very well-respected character actor here in Canada. In fact, you know that Orphan movie that came out recently, Orphan: The First Kill? Yes. He's in that.
Oh, okay.
So he has been working for a very long time. In fact, hey, all the actors in this show are Canadian.
Nice.
They recorded this in Canada, which I think is also maybe one of the reasons why they call this the Anime Fantastic Four, because every actor who they got in this show does like anime dubs for like Ocean Studios here in Canada.
Ah, okay.
In fact, there's a great connection we'll talk about later when we get into the show proper. So, episode 1 is called Doomsday, fitting title.
Fitting, yep.
And this first episode is actually written by Christopher Yost, of course, you know, decorated comic book writer, creator, who's, I think, written for just about every goddamn superhero show under the sun.
Not just movies as well. He wrote Thor the Dark World, Thor Ragnarok. He's done The Mandalorian.
Oh, yeah.
All sorts of stuff.
Real accomplished guy. He's one of those people where it's like, even if you don't recognize his name, trust me, you've watched stuff that he's done. He's like worked for like basically the whole time I've been alive. He has been a constant, Christopher Yost.
Yeah.
So yes, we're in New York City, where most of the Fantastic Four's adventures take place, and we see a lady who, I swear to Christ, I thought she was Aunt May, but nah, just a regular old lady who happens to be one of the Baxter Building's neighbors, and man, she really showcases how much it would suck living next to the Fantastic Four.
It really would, wouldn't it?
Every week there's a supervillain attack or an alien invasion. In this case, they're not just aliens, they're extra-dimensional aliens.
Yes, and they look like the aliens from Independence Day.
They really do, don't they? I thought that was familiar.
Yeah.
So yeah, we see the Fantastic Four out in force, dealing with the problem. We see Ben Grimm, the Thing, first, who they do an interesting costume thing here that I don't think I've ever seen before. He's got the blue pants. Sometimes he wears pants, sometimes he wears the underoos, but he actually just has clearly spray-painted 4 on his chest.
On his chest, yeah.
It took me a while to catch that. I'm like, oh, he spray-painted that on his chest. That's fun.
That feels very 2000s.
Very much so. Man, the Thing is such an interesting character because he has just this perfect design that's gone basically unchanged forever. He's an orange rock monster.
Yeah, his is really the only design in this whole show that I actually like, just because it just looks like Ben Grimm. Everyone else looks like completely different.
They look a little different. They're trying some things. Now, here's a question about The Thing for you and also for everyone listening in the comment section. The Thing has obviously had a lot of different costumes over the years. Sometimes he's had like a tank top or a sweatsuit. Sometimes, again, he's had the underoos. Sometimes he's had pants. What's your favorite Thing costume that he's had? Because he's had so many.
I just like him in, like, the pants.
It's a good look. He's had some terrible ones, too, like the helmet.
Yeah.
The helmet's pretty bad. So the Thing in this show is voiced by Brian Dobson, who, again, if you're a big anime fan, if you're a fan of all the Ocean dubs and Inuyasha and everything, super prolific guy. In fact, he's part of a prolific family of voice actors. There's 3 Dobson brothers. They all voice anime. You definitely know his brother, Paul Dobson. Because he plays villains and everything. Again, he was Naraku in Inuyasha. He's a million things. Paul Dobson plays Doctor Doom in this show, and like a million other characters.
Nice, nice.
So, again, the Thing's voice actor and Doctor Doom's voice actor are brothers in this show. Isn't that cool?
That's cool, yeah. Because
Canada is so small, you see, we basically just pick one family by lottery and they voice all the cartoons forever. So, yeah, we talked about the Thing's design. We see Johnny Storm next, the Human Torch. But what do you think about his suit, again, because they got this kind of blue over white thing they're going with?
I mean, I don't particularly like it. There's too much happening.
Yeah, I don't hate it. It definitely feels like, hey, this is Fantastic Four for the 2000s. We need to get really modern with it.
Yeah.
Is the big takeaway from it. I also agree. I think the Fantastic Four suits are the best when they're simple. And yeah, there's also like a thing of orange going down their suits that connects to the Four itself, because only the Four's background is orange. It's some weird color choices. Now, that being said, again, the Fantastic Four have had lots of different costumes over the years, and some are definitely better than others.
Definitely, yep.
The voice cast I'm into. I think they get the characters, and I think they really get the banter for the Fantastic Four, because, you know, the Thing is surly, Johnny keeps busting his balls, Reed has, like, a lot of techno-babble, like, oh, these creatures are from the negative zone, I've been experimenting with it, and Sue has to translate his babble.
Yeah, the chemistry between all of the characters is great, and it's there. It's exactly how I imagine the Fantastic Four would be.
Yeah, and in only 5 minutes, they nail that really well, which I was, you know, like, super into. I'm like, wow, how did I miss this show? They really nail that chemistry better than a lot of other things nail it. This is something I'm super into. And in 5 minutes, too, because this is one of those shows where the first episode is not the origin. This is not them kind of getting you up to speed. They kind of trick it later when the actual, like, main plot starts. But I like this kind of media res thing that the Fantastic Four are already formed when we see them. So yeah, Reed and all the others, they get together, they pool their powers, and they manage to take these goddamn Independence Day aliens and send them back to the negative zone where they came from.
Yeah.
Now here's another thing I noticed as I look back at this now. There's an interesting bit of eye theory going on here. Reed and later Doctor Doom have these kind of like golden brown eyes, but everyone else has blue eyes.
Yeah.
It's an interesting choice. I'm like, is that like them not so subtly being like, ah, yes, Reed and Doom are cut from the same cloth?
Yeah, I think maybe that, or I think like maybe they were planning something where like
maybe
that there was going to be some relation or something happening.
They're secret brothers.
Yeah, oh god.
And of course, the Thing has to have blue eyes because he's the ever-loving blue-eyed Thing. I mean, that's just, you know, everybody knows that. It's interesting, too, because we soon get to see the Fantastic Four's relationship with the media, and that it's kind of frosty and very, like, you know, 60s, like, they want the scoop on us, because not only are we, you know, superheroes, but we're celebrities, too.
Yep.
Which is a side of the Fantastic Four I feel they have not played in the comics forever, but maybe you can tell me, because you've been reading more of it than I have.
No, they've barely been on Earth, so yeah.
Well, there you go. Because, yeah, that was a very Stan Lee idea, where it's like, well, yeah, if these people had powers, obviously the media would want to talk to them and know everything about them.
Maybe the second film scared people off from doing it, because remember they did that sort of stuff in the second film where, like, Johnny went and, like, got them all, like, sponsors, and their costumes are covered in, like, advertisements.
Oh, shit, yeah, it has been forever since I've seen the Tim Story Fantastic Fours, but yeah, wow, that's definitely a thing. Holy shit, you're right. The media has come here saying that they have learned, you know, some shocking news about the Fantastic Four. A brand new, paper has been published, and, you know, the media is right on top of all, you know, these big scientific papers that are being published in the world of academia, but this one especially because it seeks to imply that maybe our beloved Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, actually experimented on his team unbeknowingly to expose them to cosmic rays for his research.
Reed Richards would never do something like that.
No, he would. It's funny because obviously we as the fans and longtime readers are like, well, obviously that's a lie. Obviously that's not true. But also like, yeah, but that's also something Reed would do and that they would believe.
Yeah.
Also, too, I guess this show kind of takes notes from the first Tim Story movie, because they talk about a space station and how Dr. Doom sabotaged a thing, And that's kind of baked into the origin. It's like it's a passing glance to it, but I'm guessing this is kind of like X-Men Evolution, where it's like, is it in continuity with the movie? It can be in continuity if you want it to be, but not really.
Yeah.
That's the feeling I'm getting. So yeah, this horrible piece of news, cuts through the Fantastic Four like a hot knife through butter. They don't know who to believe. They don't know if Reed might be screwing them over. And it's funny, they do this thing, and this is a total anime trick. It's the first of many anime tricks where they're all sitting in like the Fantastic Four's living room in the Baxter Building, but they're only being shot from the head up.
Yeah, it's really like close-ups.
It's insanely claustrophobic.
It's I guess building tension.
Maybe again, they want the scene to be uncomfortable. It's a good way to make it feel uncomfortable to you. But yeah, to me, I'm just like, oh, did we blow our wad with the big action scene in the beginning, and now we kind of got to like tone it down a little bit for these scenes? We got to cut some corners, even in 2006.
Yeah, just real close up so we don't see so much detail. And yeah.
It's funny, too, the Baxter Building as we see it really isn't that extravagant at all. Like, usually every other time we see it, it's this big over-the-top building.
Yeah, with a big fucking 4 on the side of it or something. Well, yeah, here it's just like a little building.
They have it, but it's a hologram. What I like about it is later when we see the elevator, we have all the different floors up to 20, but 4 is the Fantastic Four logo.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And again, the media keeps hounding them and everything. Johnny is all pissed off because, he doesn't know what to believe. And Sue says a thing that I'm sure would have been totally okay back in 2006, but is hilarious now, where Sue's like, you can't trust the media, Johnny. You can't trust the lamestream media, Johnny. Let me turn you on to these streamers. They'll tell you what's up, Johnny.
Yeah, this guy called Alex Jones on InfoWars. He knows what he's up to.
Yeah, oh wow. Again, friggin' Sue, the Karen of the Marvel Universe, just yelling at people in parking lots. And then going invisible. It's just funny in retrospect. And again, Johnny's comeback is great. I will say whoever's writing Johnny's jokes in this is pretty solid. Where it's like, yeah, Sue, but half the stuff the media has said about me is actually true. Because he's a playboy. He's always getting in trouble, Johnny. He's an irascible, lovable scamp, isn't he?
Yeah,
He's a young Chris Evans, don't you know? That night I got arrested outside Scores when I got into a freaking fight with Chuck Zito. Remember that, Sue? No one is going to get that reference I just made. That is, I am an old-ass man. But yeah, so the team is ever so briefly broken up. They go their separate ways to think about things. Ben, of course, goes to the home of Alicia Masters, who, in this show, they have reimagined as a cool Soho art hipster who's, like, also an African-American woman.
Yeah, because she was in the
That's
films.
right, that's right. I forgot. But again, see, it's been so long since I've seen the Tim Story thing. I love that they preserve this relationship in the show and show it off in the first episode, because it's just so great, isn't it, Ben and Alicia?
Yeah, it's one of the very few comic book relationships that's just, like, really nice.
Yeah, and has always stayed, too, where they're like, look, we can't do better than this. They already hit it perfect, this, loving, patient, blind woman, and this guy with a body of stone but a heart of gold, and she's able to see past it and everything.
Exactly, yeah.
Again, I didn't watch any more of this show because this is the first episode we watched. Hey, in the comments section, tell us, does her father, the puppet master, show up? Because that's cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Again, what's their take on that in this universe? Again, I always think if they do Fantastic Four again as a movie, Puppet Master should be the first villain they fight.
Definitely.
Because that fits the Marvel mold of, like, look, you get a known villain, but it's not a AAA villain, but it's a villain everyone knows, and it's got a cool set of powers and everything. There's a lot of places you could go with it. Now, not long after that, the different members of the Fantastic Four start getting hounded by these weird Cyclops robots who are green and gunmetal gray. Geez, I wonder who they could work for.
Yeah, I wonder.
I mean, in the Marvel Universe, most of their supervillains do have green in their costume.
That's true, isn't it?
Yeah. It could be most... Damn, it's the Leapfrog. Paste Pot Pete got us again.
Oh no, Mole Man is here.
Yeah, apparently Mole Man is in episode 2 when I read the synopsis. Apparently, if we only watched episode 2, we got Mole Man in episode 2. But yeah, so they start making short work of the Fantastic Four. We actually get a very cool scene of the Invisible Woman. You know, she's blowing off some steam walking down an alley there. But, oh, the robot can see her and starts shooting at her, so she has to throw up one of her big shields that she does.
Yeah.
I love that. And she's like, oh, you know, don't push me, I push back. It's good shit. I'm all about it. We see Reed in his science room because he's the last one that they grab. I like this one actually does look like usually how it's shown in the comics, Reed's lab, which is just this big metal room that's like everything's neon and shiny and advanced and everything.
Yeah, it's pretty much like it is in the comics.
Yeah, he's got all his different arms going around. Well, he only has 2 arms, but it's like he has more because they're big and stretchy. You know, he's going around doing everything, and oh, he finds a dark secret. Apparently that paper that was published on him was doctored remotely via the internet.
It was photoshopped.
Literally, it was photoshopped. This is so 2006, where it's like, oh, this paper, it was a digital file. Oh, yeah, I guess in 2006, that was still, you know, still pretty new. Yeah.
Yeah. People didn't understand any of that sort of shit.
Yeah, I guess, you know, you weren't just sending PDFs everywhere, you know, you weren't just sending those. Word documents. And again, friggin', you know, Reed Richards, one of the smartest men in the world. I will backtrace this, for I am the cyber police, and I will open this. Oh no, there was a virus in this file. And his entire computer system gets taken over by the appearance of Dr. Doom.
Yes, very overly designed Dr. Doom.
Yeah, a little bit. It's like, dude, have a cloak, have a trench coat, have a hood, don't have all 3.
Yeah.
It's a little much. The mask is also extra angular, too. Again, very anime.
And it fits with, like, the Victor's face that you see earlier.
Yes.
In, like, that scene where they show, like, the crew of the shuttle and everything.
Yes.
They're just, like, because of course, yeah.
Yeah, he's evil, so his face has got to be pointy.
Yep.
Now, again, this is Paul Dobson doing the voice of Dr. Doom. Excellent choice. He just naturally has this dark, booming register for everything he does. He's basically just doing Naraku from Inuyasha, only he's putting like a little bit more reverb on. You know, he's a little smoother is the whole thing. I like it. He's a good Doom. He's a good voice for Doom. He's definitely one of those guys I would pick.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty good voice.
His dialogue is great, too, you know, you oaf, you ogre, you know, again, just, you know, putting extra little English and little extra spins on all of his words. It's good stuff.
It is, yeah.
And, you know, he has come here today because this is all part of his big plan to get back at the Fantastic Four and take over the city. And he's already imprisoned the other members of the Fantastic Four with special cells that I must admit are pretty cool in a first episode way to set up, like, yeah, the Fantastic Four are powerful, but they're not unbeatable. You can take Johnny out with water. Ben can be burned with acid, because, you know, that's still his skin under there.
Yeah.
An Invisible Woman, she can create shields, but if we put her in a small box, the shields don't do shit, because she doesn't have enough room to maneuver.
Yeah, it's funny, Dan Slott did like, before all the stuff that's happened in the comics, there was something very similar to this in the comics. Where, like, all the Fantastic Four got, like, kidnapped by Doom, but it was actually, like, was it? It wasn't Mole Man, it was someone else. I can't remember who it was. But, yeah, they were all in, like, cells like this, where, like, Johnny has a cell which will, like, cover him in a special defoliant, which will, like, burn him out and everything.
Right. It's funny that, you know, these characters have existed for so long, and it's not as easy as Superman, where it's like, hey, you know, kryptonite, magic, that's, you know, the only things that can hurt him. With the Fantastic Four, they've had so long to, like, refine it, because they've been around since the 60s, where it's like, okay, well, what hurts them? How can you actually, you know, take them out of a fight and, you know, bring the drama to it and everything?
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty cool. Reed doesn't even get a science cell. He gets what I can only, you know, call Lotvarian science bondage, where he's, like, hog-tied with a bunch of wires and everything.
It looks like something you'd see, like, Mr. Miracle wearing.
Very much so. Oh my god, yeah, Jack Kirby's so proud of that.
Yeah.
Look, all I'm saying is I just really wish Infernal Restraints had sponsored this episode, because this would be an excellent place to do an ad read. When I, Dr. Doom, want to take advantage of my greatest foe, Reed Richards, I only trust the people of Infernal Restraints. The greatest name in bondage. I don't know why he's becoming friggin' the Ultimate Warrior there by the end. But yeah, so the whole reason Doom orchestrated this is he wants to steal Mr. Fantastic's science glove because he too wants to open a portal to the negative zone. In fact, in classic Doom fashion, I discovered the negative zone years before you, Richards.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, and now I'm going to open a portal to the rest of the world and let, you know, bad shit happen, because that's kind of my bag. I will say, though, I do actually love the effect of them opening the negative zone from the Baxter building, because it, like, washes over the whole city, and then rays of light come down, and, like, the buildings look like they're shattering.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
It's a very cool effect, actually. Again, in a show, this is why they had to do the close-up head thing before, because they knew they were going to be spending a lot of money on that effect. We also see a lot of anime speed lines, too, a lot of Speed Racer for the action scenes.
Yeah.
Which is funny, because, like, growing up as a kid, I never considered that to be, like, a Japanese thing, to be an anime thing. It's only when I got older was I like, oh, yeah, I guess, you know, like, Bugs Bunny and, like, Flintstones and shit don't do that.
No, they don't.
No, that's like a very, like, Japanese thing. But again, made by French people. Just French people who really respect the Japanese anime art form.
Yeah, French people can be weebs as well.
Indeed they are. Again, one day we'll have to do Code Lyoko and Cyber 6, which again, also weeby French people who made that. So yeah, the team manages to escape because they use their power in interesting ways. Stu tells a hilarious story being like, hey, remember that time you made Ben's soda explode Johnny just by looking at it really hard? Which I love the idea that that's a thing that Johnny has to worry about. If he looks at something too hard for too long, it may also burst into flames.
Yeah, it can turn... It's got pyrokinesis, yeah.
Yeah, Christ, he better be careful if he's just, like, reading a menu in a restaurant for too long. Can't make up his mind, he'll set the whole place on fire. Sorry about that. Do you think they always have to travel with, like, a fire extinguisher everywhere they go, just in case?
Yeah, Reed's got like some sort of device that'll put Johnny out very quickly.
Herbie the robot comes and puts him out.
Yeah.
Actually, apparently Herbie is in this show too. As I looked at the voice cast, apparently he's in later episodes as well.
That's cool.
I love that Herbie continues to be canon and keep coming back, even the weird shit.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of weird shit, this Fantastic Four cartoon is actually the fourth mainstream Fantastic Four cartoon.
Yeah, I know when we were doing this, I was like, which one are we doing?
Because there's been a lot.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, there's been more than a few of these to keep track of. There's, like, the old one from, like, you know, when Captain America throws his mighty shield times. And then there's, like, the one from, like, around Spider-Man the Animated Series times. So there's been quite a few times that they've, you know, tried out the Fantastic Four. So yeah, everything's going to shit in the city. Everyone's dying. There's aliens running amok, which, man, to think this wasn't that long after 9/11 and they're already doing like a New York is fucked type of thing.
Yeah.
Looking back on that, I'm like, boy, I wonder if they faced any, you know, blowback from this. Doom is doing his big speechifying of like, you can't stop me, Richards, because I'm smarter and better, and I have a bigger dick and a nicer cloak than you. Only for Reed to be like, yeah, man, don't you know how this goes? Yeah, you might have beaten me, but when you fight me, you fight 3 other people, only for the Thing to come and just punch him in the face.
Punch him in the face, yeah.
And they get the best sound effect, too. I have always loved the sound effect. They do it in the comics, too. The Thing's fist against, you know, Dr. Doom's metal faceplate. That sound, pong, it just always feels so good. Hats off to the Foley guy. He doesn't get paid enough for how good that sounds. They even do that great thing they do from the comics, too, where Johnny and Doom are, like, flying around and they have their, like, powers bouncing off each other and everything.
Yeah.
And Doom's getting all pissed off that this, like, petulant child is able to actually keep up with him. It's really solid. They actually beat Doom fairly easily by working together, and Ben does a great bit where he throws, like, one of those giant science claws and sticks them to the wall, and it's like, alright, we're gonna come back and beat you up later, we gotta save the city. Love it, love everything about it, and yeah, the big finale is actually them not fighting Doom, but once again fighting the Independence Day aliens and saving the lives of regular everyday New Yorkers.
Yeah, like they usually do.
Like they do. Again, it sucks to have the Fantastic Four as neighbors, except for when you really need them. In which case, it's like, oh god, please save me, Fantastic Four, please save me. It's actually Sue who gives chase to Dr. Doom when he ends up getting loose. Johnny, of course, in classic Johnny fashion, gets a little too reckless, tries to take him out single-handedly, and Sue has to call off the chase to save him.
Yeah.
So like every Fantastic Four story you've ever read.
Yeah, pretty much.
Again, Yost did his homework. He is a student of the game. He knows how these stories go. And credit to him for, like, in 22 minutes giving us, like, oh yeah, that is the quintessential Fantastic Four adventure. The team has an internal struggle. Doom tries to take over. The negative zone is there, but they all come together at the end.
Yeah.
And there's a great bit, too, where Reed, to, like, close the portal, has to, like, stretch the entire length of the city.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I always love when, like, Reed has to, like, push his powers to the limits.
Yeah, because it's one of those power sets where it's like, well, he's just stretchy, right? Well, what does that mean? What are the limits of that power? Could he stretch himself around the Earth? Could he stretch himself from one planet to another?
Yeah.
And the answer is, like, yeah, probably, if the writer could think of a reason for it.
Yeah.
Though, assumedly, as we see right here, he's basically like a rubber band, so at one point he will reach mass, and he will end up friggin', slingshotting himself violently back down to Earth.
There we go. We need a story where, like, Reed, like, for some reason decides he's going to try and, like, stretch himself to, like, the moon or something. And he does it, but, like, he snaps back, and, like, the force of him hitting the Earth, like, knocks Earth out of, like, rotation or something.
Again, how has no writer done that? That sounds like a great pitch. In fact, I love in this episode, they go, yeah, he stretched himself so far, he knocked himself out before he hit the ground. And, like, he lived, because he's tough, and he's made of, like, rubber and everything. He's just got the thing standing over him being like, hey, Stretch, and he calls him Stretch, which is great. I love they work all the nicknames in.
Yeah.
Flame Brain, Hothead, it's all in there, and it's all good. And it's like, well, we saved the city, and now we finally, have the media's ear, so we can explain to them, hey, that paper you've been going on about was doctored, and you can read all about it on my blog.
See, it's behind a paywall.
Exactly. See, that's the future of the internet. You see, you big news types, you're all dinosaurs. Twitter is going to eat you alive in the next couple decades. Yes, I, Reed Richards, have gone to the future and seen Twitter. It's going to be really good, then really bad, then really bad again. Johnny, of course, has to steal focus, as he always does, by doing his own Dr. Doom impression. Which is very funny and just, again, so quintessentially Johnny.
Yeah.
It's not enough that we save the day and beat the villain, but I'm also going to, like, savagely talk shit about him in front of the cameras.
Yeah.
They also bring up that Doom has diplomatic immunity, which I like, and again, doesn't get brought up as much in modern stories as you would think.
No, not at all.
That it's not just enough that the Fantastic Four always need to fight him and thwart his plans, but also they literally can't arrest him. No one can arrest him, which means if the Four weren't there to stop him, he could basically get away with whatever.
Yeah, and they were also basically, because they're, like, attacking, like, a foreign national.
Yeah.
Like, that could also
start
lead
a
to
war.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that was so important to Doom early on in his career, and then they're just like, we've told every version of that story.
Yeah, it's been told quite a fair few times.
Yeah, frickin' just like the bad guy in Lethal Weapon 2. With his diplomatic immunity. The final shot, too, I especially love. It's, everything's back to normal, the Four have reconciled, and we take one last look at Latveria, where Doom is all pissed off, and you think, like, oh, he's mad because he lost and he couldn't open the negative zone. No, he's mad because Johnny defaced one of his logos.
Yeah, he put a big smiley face on it.
That's a great payoff, because as they're escaping, Johnny's like, no, wait a minute, guys, now I'll be around in just a second, and it's like, what is he doing?
Yeah, it's just that little bit of extra petty.
Just that little extra fucking... You may have won the, battle, but we won the war, really. When you think about it. So yeah, that's the episode, everyone. That's Fantastic Four, World's Greatest Heroes. First time Matt and I have been seeing it. I don't know about you, Matt, but I thoroughly enjoyed this.
I enjoyed it, yeah. I thought it was pretty good.
This was cool. Again, if I was watching the channels that this aired on back in the day, which that was another problem with the show, it aired very sporadically.
Yeah, I don't even know where it would have aired here in Australia.
For me, I know it aired on YTV right before their anime block, because again, this was a weird time in my life when I was watching more anime than I was watching superhero stuff, and I remember it would always just be ending, and I'm like, yeah, you know, superhero stuff, that's never gonna take off. That's just gonna be weird and niche forever in 2006. At least I got my comics. Little did I know. But yeah, I can understand why a whole generation really, you know, kind of rallied behind this one. And I have to say, for your first exposure to the Fantastic Four, it was a pretty good first exposure.
Yeah, it hit all those hallmarks of the characters. Yeah.
Hit all the notes you want. The voice cast is cool. Again, like I said, they basically do all the stuff you would ask. Later on, we get Ronan the Accuser, we get the Mole Man, we get Herbie. I think Iron Man and Ant-Man are even in this, and even Bruce Banner at a point as a cameo.
Oh, nice. I know She-Hulk is in it.
Yeah, so which is fun because she used to be a member.
Yeah, well, I think I saw like pictures of her in like a Fantastic Four costume.
Oh, nice.
So. Yeah.
Even in that new Gail Simone book, The Variants, they make that joke. She comes to help out Jessica Jones, and she's wearing her old Fantastic Four suit, and Jess is like, why are you wearing that? And Jen's like, well, you told me to hurry, and this was the first thing I had to throw on. I fucking love that idea that superheroes keep all their old costumes in a closet. They're like, well, I might need it again one day.
Yeah, I might need to become that edgy 90s person again. Yeah.
Which, again, that means, oh no, that means, you know, friggin' Sue has, like, the weird boob costume, and Ben has the weird, like, helmet costume, like all the bad ones they have.
Yeah.
Just in a closet somewhere. So, yeah, thank you, everyone, for joining us again for another Retro Hero video. As always, this was a ton of fun. I love that we get to do this at the end of every month, Matt. It's a great kind of palate cleanser for us. Lets us shake things up, do something different.
It does, yeah. It's a lot shorter as well, so we're able to manage it a little bit easier.
Yeah, which means I can edit it quicker on my own, give you a break, and get it up in time for the patrons and everyone so they get their own little special treat. And again, hey, if you want to see this show as soon as it's done, before it goes live Wednesday, that's how you do it, by becoming a patron. You can become one for as little as $1 a month. Always much appreciated. Again, hey, Infernal Restraints, get back to us. This show doesn't have a sponsor yet, but it can. We'll sell whatever you want, man. It's good. This arc especially is great, too, because it's us talking about stuff we've never seen before.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to be able to go back and view these cartoons that I know existed, but never saw.
Yeah, and I know our fans like it too, because ironically, this is their time frame, so they love it. We get to expand our horizons. It's a real win-win. Now, I don't know if this is going to be true for the last one, Matt, because we saved a biggie for last. After poking fun at it forever, it's getting a goddamn third season and a name change, but we're going to be watching Alfred, or as it is now known, Pennyworth. Alfred Pennyworth, the Batman's the butler. Yeah. We're gonna be watching the first episode of that, everyone, which will make it our first, a second foray into live action. So that's gonna be special. So join us at the end of next month for that, or whenever the hell we decide to do it. Because, like I said, I think the show has enough fans and legs now that we can just trot it out whenever there's like a slow news week.
Yeah.
I think we can just do that and no one's going to riot. So again, thank you so much for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we will be back again next time for another Retro Hero video podcast. Bye-bye.
Bye.